For someone who enjoys horror, there's admittedly been very little that's inspired unnerving fear. Maybe it's due to seeing so many of the same patterns playing out over the years, or just plain being desensitized. It could be a tolerance to things that others find gruesome or disturbing. Imagine my surprise when it was a game about hunting ghosts, that two kinetic games, Phasmophobia, that incited some real fear. And I'm not talking about general tension, but outright fear at what's happening and an unwillingness to re-enter my surroundings after a few paranormal occurrences. On some level, I've always known about the game due to the sheer number of Let's Plays over the years, its debut for PC and Steam Early Access back in 2020, and given global events at the time, its popularity exploded overnight. Yet with the recent console launch, I've finally gone hands-on and experienced the dread firsthand. Phasmophobia's premise is straightforward. As part of a ghost hunting crew, it's your job to investigate paranormal activities and sniff out ghosts seemingly haunting mundane locations. While it sounds simple, the task is more involved than you think. You're given a rudimentary set of tools: a flashlight, UV light, camcorder, thermometer, a regular old pen and paper, and a spirit box, which lets you ask questions from the ghost. The board offered up some objectives, like getting an EMF reading from the house, having my sanity drop to 25%, and escaping while the ghost in question was on a hunt. With all that in mind, I set out solo to investigate. Walking around with a flashlight and a camcorder didn't yield much results, but the utter silence only added to the terror. When I brought the EMF reader, which indicates the presence of electromagnetic fields, the ghost started to show itself more frequently. It burst lights in the garage, and upon retrieving the spirit box to try and question it, a hunt seemingly began. On my last try, I investigated some books that were dropped from a nearby shelf, only to see it appear directly in front. Suffice it to say that after hightailing it and sneaking a peek at a light that it turned on and off, I left, tail between my legs. As random as it all sounds, there is a clear flow and strategy to everything in Phasmophobia. It may be tempting to explore surroundings with only your flashlight, but the ghost responds to that. They respond to almost everything that you do, and oftentimes just the act of hiding can be enough to stay alive. Trawling around in the dark isn't a good idea, since that reduces your sanity and increases the likelihood of a ghost initiating a hunt. It's a good idea to investigate the ghost's room and try to learn more information, but as my first case proved, they can move around with impunity within the location. Even if you do eke out some objective completions, the most cash, which can be used to buy more equipment, is earned from ticking every item off the list, including identifying the ghost. Depending on the ghost type, you'll need to use different tools to gather evidence, but their traits can provide more than a few hints. A Myling emits more paranormal sounds than others, and good luck picking up without a parabolic microphone, which only becomes available later on. A Goryo is susceptible to dots, but will still appear in plain sight during a hunt. With so many different behaviors, it's a lot to take in, and when you're a new player who jumps in without any experience, things can go bad pretty quickly, especially if you're not 100% sure the ghost type. During a multiplayer match, I picked up sounds using the parabolic microphone, or at least I thought I did. A Myling perhaps? No, it was a Goryo, which I only found out after dying and watching my partner leave the premise before quickly leaving the lobby afterwards. Since dying will set you back on money earned, there's a risk versus reward element to cases. Will you stay and try to figure out a ghost type, mopping up additional objectives in the process? Or complete whatever you can and get out, vowing to fight or investigate another day? The fact that you have to push forward and ultimately overcome your fear to succeed makes it so endearing. Whichever route you go with, earning extra cash allows buying more equipment. You still have to work to level up and unlock them, but it's worth it for the higher tiers. It's easy enough nowadays to look up a cheat sheet or tips to figure out each ghost, but that's the part of the fun in Phasmophobia. Playing alone feels like a survival horror that requires more patience to understand what you're dealing with, and ideally escape with your life. The fact that it doesn't rely on jump scares with the sense of dread building at a natural pace is all the more impressive. Yes, it can lead to some frustration at times, especially when first starting, but the scares are worth it, since you can never be sure when a ghost will strike or how. As spooky as it can be, however, I can see the appeal wearing off over time with more optimal play, thus turning this into more of a mystery than a fight for survival. Co-op is the main appeal, and while it's best enjoyed with friends, playing with randoms can be fun, providing you can find a decent lobby, that is. For a game primarily built for co-op, the lobby browser needs some serious work. While you can sort through other people's games based on language and region, it doesn't show the difficulty or cases that they'll be working on. The best thing you can do is hop in and hope they don't kick you out for whatever reason. I would have especially appreciated some way to find lobbies that don't necessarily mandate a mic or just looking for a chill time instead of getting through the case as quickly as possible. Presentation-wise, I'm thoroughly impressed with Phasmophobia. Its levels feel lived in and natural while offering a uniquely creepy atmosphere. The layouts also feel right whether you're investigating a regular house, a campsite, or a high school. The lack of music in many scenarios only adds to the atmosphere, with ambient sounds taking over and immersing you in the experience. Of course, they also amplify the sounds the ghosts would make, which only adds to the dread. While it may not push boundaries visually, the attention to detail in the environment's lighting and shadows is on point, backed by solid performance on PS5. Though numerous titles have popped up over the years and woven Phasmophobia's mechanics into their premises, very few can capture the same abject level of terror. The trial and error approach to investigating ghosts, combined with the random nature of some interactions, may not appeal to everyone, and the lobby browser is long overdue for improvements. Nevertheless, if you're seeking a horror title unlike anything else currently available on consoles, it may be worth popping in for a ghost hunt or two. Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.